MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide number 5, Part 2. This is MacVoices. Today's MacVoices is supported by MacVoices After Dark. Uncensored, off-topic, and always off the wall. MacVoices After Dark is available as a benefit to our Patreon subscribers. Sign up at patreon.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is the second part of MacVoices Holiday Gift Guide number 5. I'm only going to tell you to keep your credit cards handy because there's some great picks coming up. So let's go back and hear from the panel. So, Brittany, take us into round 3.
The phrase narrowing down makes me sound so much more prepared than I actually was.
You're not supposed to admit those things.
Sure, I had a backup list. So I don't know how to pronounce it, but my next one is the LaCie, C-A?
LaCie.
Rugged, huh?
It's LaCie.
What was it? LaCie?
LaCie.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good night.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Rugged USB external. It's not like I've tested it long enough to know. I mean, I've had it for, I don't know, 6 months, but it seems really durable, and I throw things in my bag on a fairly regular basis, which is not amazing for hard drives. And it's all got all rubber around the side, and I've been using it for my backup. I actually don't know if it's big enough to use it as my carbon copy for this computer, but I've been using it as my backup, and it's really easy to find in a bag because it's bright orange. And
like that one?
It's got little, like that. And it's got little bumpers around the edge, and it's cute. Yeah. And what I really needed was USB-C to USB-C and no adapters, because then I'd never get around to backing up. I know I have an adapter connected a lot of the time, but I don't do backups while I'm on Zoom. So what I really needed was just as easy and lazy as possible. It really needed to be USB-C and to stand up to the Brittany level of movement lifestyle.
So, at the risk of asking an obvious question, what is this primarily for? Just data storage? Are you editing off of this drive some of your videos, or how are you using it?
I actually might be switching it to job because it was my carbon copy backup of the smaller computer, but now that I have one that's 4 terabytes, I actually don't know that will be adequate. I don't know if those could be the same size. So it might turn into my video backup drive that, goes to Backblaze and have an extra place where the things live so that if something goes wrong, I don't lose all my old video data. So it actually might change its job soon, and I might need a new carbon copy drive. But yeah, I lost my MacBook Air twice, and it needed to be brought back from the brink, and I lost everything on it. And I was like, yeah, it's finally time.
Yeah, that's something those little, if you have a 4 terabyte drive, you're not going to do a little, but it's nice to have, those backups, because even if you do lose your system, at least you've got all your data. So,
right.
Good pick.
Right.
Yeah, and LaCie is a great name.
It is.
I think we've all probably owned LaCie.
It sounds even better when you know how to pronounce it.
Is this the model that had the solid state? Sorry.
Go ahead,
David.
So was this the model that does this have a solid state drive, or it's a moving mechanical drive?
No, I did not spring for solid state. I figured bumpers were probably adequate since I actually wasn't meaning to take it with me. Its job was to be carbon copy clone.
Got it.
But a little extra bumper doesn't hurt anybody in case it ends up in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It probably won't.
I'm sorry to be making extra noise here, but I want to show off the library of ancient portable drives. So we have a FireWire 800 model of the LaCie of the LaCie drive, USB 3 and FireWire 800 classic. And I also have here. This is a company named VST, which I don't know if anybody remembers. This is an 8 gigabyte portable hard drive FireWire 400.
Nice.
And keep in mind, 8 gigabytes now would not be a particularly large micro SD card, but
Right.
this thing, you could throw this at somebody and do them some damage. So yeah, I commend you, Brittany, for your hard drive choices. This thing still works. If I can find the FireWire 400 to FireWire 800 to Thunderbolt, like daisy chain converter cable, I could still pull data off this drive. I bet. I haven't tried recently, but I bet I could. And why do I have it? No good reason. I should throw it out immediately. There's nothing on here that I need.
Yeah, this one has the old. This is the Thunderbolt 2, the old Thunderbolt,
Nice.
and it was USB too. So you got to go either way on this one.
But I have a bunch of those in the basement, and Mike, I'm like you. I just can't get rid of them, but I don't have any. I mean, they barely hold a decent sized working file now.
Yeah.
And they're slow. They're slow as molasses. And what would you even do with them?
Yeah.
It's time to throw them out. Wipe them and throw them.
Yeah. Recycle. Okay, so Brittany, you took us off on a little hard drive excursion there. So, David, what do you got for round 3?
Well, I guess I'm going to put you on a little bit of a hard drive excursion here, though. But it's actually a docking station. This is made by our company, what we all know as Sabrent, the USB 3.0 4-bay, 2.5-inch hard drive docking station with fan. And this is it here. It holds up to 4 different solid-state drives, or you can put the mechanical drives in here too if you wanted to. It also comes with a fan, so it's got a little dome that goes on it, and it actually keeps it cool. So nice little device here. It's USB 3.0 connections on the back here, and it powers up really nicely. And then it has the power at the front here, where you'll get these LED lights, and it gives you all the activity. They work simultaneously, which is awesome. I have this plug. I had this plugged into my M1 Mac Mini, and it works nicely. I've got 2 4 terabyte drives and 2 1 terabyte drives in here, and all the drives are just running really nice and fast. And, it's nice to have that much data sitting in one little device here, and you don't really need to have the fan. At least I didn't think you do. It's here just to keep it cool. You can turn it on, but of course it's going to be nice and loud, so I keep it off because most of the time solid state drives do stay pretty cool. So not bad little device. It's like $70, and I like it. Sabrent.
David, that's really interesting. Okay, so got to go geeky just a little bit. So does it mount as 4 different drives, or are you able to assign RAIDs for it? RAID identifications?
4 separate drives.
Just 4 separate drives.
Yep.
Very cool.
And those are 2.5-inch, right? Not.
Yep.
They're 2. Yeah. Interesting.
Yep. The standard 2.5-inch laptop solid state drives are in here.
Interesting.
They work nicely.
Interesting.
And it's a USB 3.0 at the back there, and then you have just have a power cord for it.
Nice.
In past years, we had a number of those drive toasters, picked, and those are great. But I love the fact that this. I mean, just a little thing. It has a cover over it, so first of all, it's gonna reduce some of the noise. Yeah, but more important to my mind, there's no dust that's going to get down in the mechanisms, not nearly as easily. So
it's magnetic too, and so that stays on. You got to really pull it to get it to. It won't fall.
Yeah, interesting pick. I didn't even know they made anything like that.
Yeah, I just out of whim I found it, and I like it.
Yeah, good. Okay, Mr. Rose, that brings you to round 3.
Well, apparently this is hard drive round, so I've got a LaCie Porsche here, the black one. I've got a LaCie USB-C one here. I've got a vintage WD My Passport, Elgato. Remember the Elgato Thunderbolt SSD? We've got that lying around here. We've got the My Passport Pro with the built-in Thunderbolt cable. Absolutely most useless object in the world because it is a 6-inch long, permanently attached Thunderbolt cable. And I remember when they sent me this drive to review it originally, and I said, "Aren't you worried about at some point, like the cable, like maybe not, we're not going to be using these interfaces forever. And they're like, nah, that could never happen. Really a pain in the neck. But of this entire stack of drive, like you got me on a complete drive wackiness. But the one I'm going to recommend, Brittany, what? Are you okay?
I left and my internet cut out, and you were showing your history of drives, and I came back and it didn't work, and then I came back again, and you're still talking about your history of drives?
No, we had a whole David gift in there that you missed. It is not. I can understand how you might think that was what was happening. It's not impossible, but
it sounded like Jabba the Hutt describing a gift when I was here in the middle.
And then you came back. No,
I came back and you were still talking about your drives.
Listen, when you got drives, you got to talk about your drives. No, the drive I want to talk about. The drive I actually want to talk about is this. It's the Sandisk Extreme Pro. Comes in 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte, I think. And this is not a Thunderbolt 3 drive. They are Thunderbolt 3 SSDs that are super ridiculously fast, but they're also more expensive. And at some point, we'll have USB 4, Thunderbolt 3, which will be the same, and they'll all be super fast. But right now, this sucker, which is essentially the size of a keychain. Now, I'm gonna just give you that example one more time. And this is for Brittany, who was Jabba the Hutting. 8 gigabytes, so order of magnitude 10 gigabytes, 1 terabyte, 2 orders of magnitude, at least. This is 100 times more data than this is. Am I right? Is my math correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
100 on the order of 100 times more data in this thing. It's light, it's portable, it is fast enough to do certainly HD editing, possibly 4K editing as a scratch drive. It is great for taking projects back and forth if you need to do that. Works with any USB-C data cable. Super slick, super easy. I tend to leave this plugged into my Mac Mini all the time, which is probably not the best thing to do with it. But these are on sale at B&H and a couple other places. And the fact that it's Sandisk, Sandisk has as much experience, with solid state storage as anybody. And the fact that they moved up market, they also are making SSDs for video game consoles and other stuff. Good stuff. Extreme Pro from Sandisk. I promise I will show no more hard drives during the course of this time.
I better not show my little pouch here filled with hard drives inside here. So,
curses! You have beaten me again, David.
I mean, I know somewhere we have our 5-inch floppies, but I definitely have some 3 1/4s that need old data taken off of them somewhere. Actually, that's sad. I actually know where they are, but I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I this is not my pick, but since we're doing a gift or a hard drive thing.
Oh, this is a problem. He's going back to the back shelf.
Yeah, the big baby.
Geez.
Yes. So you got to get one of these little letter sorters.
That's right.
They are perfect to keep your hard drive collection organized. And as you can see with this one, I did drop one. But if you keep cables connected to them, just turn it around, and then you can plug any of these in at any given moment. And it's just your own little data bank. I mean,
letter sorter.
Yeah.
But what do you do if they're all the big book-sized ones? And then they're heat generating. You can't stack them. It's a whole thing.
No, you don't have. That's where you have the drive toasters. But for this, this is a great way to organize them. Except for the fact that
it's very clever,
falling out of one end. But yeah, it really is. It's like $8 or $9, guys. I mean, come on.
That's a fantastic gift. How can you say no to that? Inevitably, we always get to things you can find in the remainder shelves at Staples, because what are the holidays about if not for picking up something at the last minute that should have been sold last year?
Well, sure, and again, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
You would. That's what I'm saying. You absolutely would.
All right, so I have to change my gift pick then, because since Brittany is saying in the chat, can we talk about 3 1/4 next? So yeah, I'm going to say definitely suggest that you get one of the we colloquially call them the drive toasters, but the little things that look like a toaster that you stick 3 1/4 inch drives in, they mount up and act just like an external hard drive, but you're not having to pay for the case or anything. You're getting to use the capacity, because we all have a lot of those lying around, and the odds are that they're probably going to be a bit more capacity and therefore a bit more usable than some of the things Mike was showing. OWC makes some great ones. I know there's some other great brands out there. I'm just trying to find it right now, since I didn't have this one prepared, but it seems to go really well. Yeah, there's one. The OWC Drive Dock USB-C dual drive based solution, USB 3.1 Gen 2 for Mac and PC. So this will plug in 2 drives to a USB 3.1 interface, and there are less expensive ones out there. You can go and play with them, but if you're going to do something like this, go with OWC. I think that's going to be something that you're going to be very, very happy with. The build quality is going to be great. If you do need support, they're going to do it. And this is, what is this? This is $99. And you can have it in 2 days from Amazon. And so, Brittany, if you have a bunch of those lying around, I mean, dead serious, why not make use of them? Then you buy a couple of the little hard plastic cases to keep them in, just to keep the dust out of them, and they're useful for backups or just having multiple copies of data around. So,
I meant floppies, right?
No, you didn't mean.
Yes, I meant. Can we talk about our 3 1/4 floppy drives? Yeah,
1.44 megabytes of floppies.
Yeah,
Why?
those.
Why, Brittany? Why?
Why do I have a box of those somewhere in the attic on the coast? Because I do. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this will take the drives that David was showing off and the 3.5s that you're used to.
Those drives are a lot more useful. I was going to say, there's nothing you can store on those 5 1/4 these days that's worth anything.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. So, but thank you for inspiring a gift pick I really hadn't remembered. But this is a great way because again, I have an embarrassing number of these around, and trying to figure out a way to make good use of them is tough. This edition of Mac Voices is supported by our Patreon subscribers and Mac Voices After Dark. Ever wonder what happens before the Mac Voices live shows? Or what happens when the show ends or after the live feed closes? That's where Mac Voices After Dark comes in. If you are a Patreon supporter at any level, you get access to the video of our off-camera conversations. Uncensored, unedited, and always off the wall. It's a small thank you to our Patreon supporters who want to peek behind the curtain. Become a Patreon subscriber at patreon.com/MacVoices. And thanks to everyone who supports the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
For real.
Well, that was a very weird round 3, but, here we are. So that means we are into round 4. And this means these are your final picks of this year's gift guide, so make them good. Brittany, you going big or are you going small?
That depends on your perspective. So I saved this one for last because I knew I wasn't going to get sniped. It's how it goes, right? So I live in the Pacific Northwest, and our days are shockingly short and gray at this point of the world. But it's not just us. It happens to a lot of people. And it keeps coming up in coaching new clients or talking to new folks and saying, yeah, I've been having a huge problem with energy and getting stuff done. And I have to check off the basics first. And one of those basics is, do you have a sun therapy light? So that is one of the basics to make sure you have energy when you have a lot less sun than you're accustomed to. And so my pick is a sun therapy light that's pretty lightweight. I own a few of them now because they've had some big ones in the past and they're fine, but it's really nice to have one that's a little more portable. Not that I don't have 3 in separate rooms. I obviously do. But Plus one of the big old clunky ones. I don't move that one ever. So yeah, my pick is let's see if I can pronounce it. The Carex Daylight Classic Plus, and I have a link for that for you, Chuck. So yeah, it's a sun lamp. If you're feeling, and I know they say 30 minutes in front of it, and I say nuts to that. If it's gray outside, I want one on.
Okay.
Once it gets dark, yeah, think about something with cooler color temperatures. Warmer color temperatures that are going to be more orange and less daylight. But while it's actively gray outside, it's really good for people with seasonal affective.
Brittany, I never believed in these things. And yet I know 3 friends I can think of right quick that got them and it just changed their lives. I mean, I'm not sure what that says about them or about me, but it for some people, it just makes an amazing amount of difference.
Light matters, Chuck. As a video person, I feel like you understand that on one level and just maybe haven't learned where it might apply on other levels.
That's fair. That's fair. So, okay.
Yeah, it matters a lot. Like, I don't know if I know you have Hue bulbs, but if you've played with them and noticed, and some people are more sensitive to the color temperatures than other people. I am on the more sensitive side for sure. But it impacts things like melatonin production and, like the blue light from computer and, the stuff that Apple put into our computers to have them warm a little bit more, although it's not automatic, which still makes me crazy. Anyway, yeah, it's brain science, Chuck. I'm here to tell you. But yes, individuals will vary in how much they respond to it.
They're interesting. Good pick. Good pick. David? Round 4.
Well, I did save the best for last, and since we had all these hard drives where we're plugging in, why not go with the OWC Thunderbolt Hub? That's got the three Thunderbolt 4 ports that you can daisy chain, and works really super fast. You can also put the 4, 5, and 6K displays on here and multiple displays. This thing's a champ. It does run a lot of great devices. Got the power plug right here. It does come with a big brick, so it does have a lot of power that needs to draw on this, but that's okay. And then on the other side, you got your standard USB-A port, and then you got your pass-through here to pass through the power to plug it into your laptop. Works great with the M1s, any Macs, and then Thunderbolt 4. $179. I got this right when it first came out. Absolutely love it. It's on my desk here. Nice accompaniment to my OWC dock, the Thunderbolt dock I have now. So that I had before, I should say. And yep, nice little dock. I like it.
Very nice.
David, I feel like we were talking about that last year at this time. Like we were having the same conversation about the dock and how excited we were that it was coming. The Thunderbolt 3 hubs are amazing, and actually for things like the M1 Mini, which are port limited, you would think would be conventionally port limited. Plug in one of these and you don't care. It's a game changer.
Sure is.
Very nice, David. Very nice. Okay, Mike, this takes you to round 4.
Leaves me.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of options here, and I'm going to go with something that I am actually, again, have on hand. I think I physically demoed or physically shown everything I was on my gift guide. I can't show this one without a mirror because it is actually plugged into my camera right over there. It is the GENKI ShadowCast. So everyone should be probably familiar with the Elgato Cam Link. Take that HDMI output and convert it to USB so that you can use it as a webcam or a camera input from your computer. Problem with the cam links, very hard to come by, or at least they were in the middle of last year when everybody was suddenly hooking their cameras for the first time. And I wanted a spare or a backup, so I found this Kickstarter for GENKI and GENKI, and they were primarily focused on getting be able to enable streaming things like the Nintendo Switch or other HDMI game consoles, but it works great for this purpose, which is taking an DSLR HDMI output and turning it into a webcam. Like $50. They're more compact than the Camlink. Same quality. I haven't had any trouble with this one, and it fits in my bag a little bit more nice. They come in black or yellow, and they're pretty cool. So the ShadowCast is my fourth pick. If you have any need of getting video out of HDMI into your computer on the cheap, recommended.
I am not at all familiar with the ShadowCast. I'm using one of the Elgato solutions right now as we speak, but the ShadowCast is new to me, so I'm going to have to check this out.
Yeah, and it's great if you're trying to step up from a conventional USB interface to, or a conventional USB webcam to using a DSLR or mirrorless camera, and they know they're going to need an HDMI interface. It's an inexpensive one, and it's readily available. So definitely recommend it.
Yeah. The only warning I give, and this goes for all of them, is make sure your DSLR has a clean HDMI output. In other words, all the little symbols and everything for the menus, that you can turn everything off so that your picture looks like Mike's with just nothing around it. And unfortunately, some of the older DSLRs did not include that capability, which never made any sense to me, because you give HDMI out, so you're going to be able to play pictures off of the camera to a big screen, but then you're going to have to see the controls up on the big screen interfering with the pictures. I don't know what they were thinking, but anyway.
Yeah, my camera actually, it does do clean HDMI out, but what it doesn't do is it doesn't stay on for more than half an hour at a time. So this is the Canon D5200. This is running hacked firmware so that it will stay on indefinitely. The things you have to do now, I mean, any camera you're going to buy now, if you go to Ecamm or if you go to Elgato's site, and they will give you a very clear list of modern cameras that are compatible with their solution that will give you clean HDMI and will stay on and not have any problems. And in fact, most Canon DSLRs now will do direct USB output. There's a driver for that now, so you don't even need one of these solutions. But if you have a Nikon or a Fuji or Sony or anything like that, and you want this, it's perfect for it.
Yeah, great pick, Mike. Great pick. Yeah, people don't sometimes realize that this stuff is out there to take a piece of equipment that they're using for one thing and use it for something else that may be even more important than the original use case. So,
absolutely right.
So I'm going to go kind of big for my last pick. I feel like with all the new MacBooks, with everything that's coming out, you need an external monitor. And there's absolutely no reason now, and especially with the prices the way they are, that you can't get an external 4K monitor to give yourself a whole lot more workspace. Because nothing says productivity like workspace. It just is. I'm sorry, but I go back to trying to use one screen, and it's not impossible, but it's just painful when you're so used to having the really big screens. I do not have this model, but that this is a successor, as far as I can tell, to the monitors I have in back of me. It's the Dell SE2722HX, 27-inch. No, wait a minute. Shoot, I got the wrong one. Darn. That's 1920 by 1080. I'm sorry, guys. I clicked on the wrong one. Yeah, okay. So this is the one. This is $300. To be fair, right up front, this is $369. This is a Dell QHD 1440p, so 2560 by 1440 IPS ultra thin bezel monitor, 75 hertz refresh rate, ADM sync, HDMI display ports, built-in speakers, etc., etc. If you're buying a monitor, I don't know about you guys, but I don't really care about the speakers. If you want to pay a whole lot more, you can get them with extra USB ports. You can have them with built-in USB hubs. I feel like that just is more. I don't want to pay for something that I'm not going to use, or that I can keep externally that can be upgraded, like with David's Thunderbolt dock. I don't need USB ports built in that are going to be obsolete in 2 or 3 years, because a monitor is something you're going to keep around for a while. But for $369, called $370, you can have a really beautiful 4K monitor. And Dell, say what you will about their computers, they make really, really nice monitors.
Sure do.
And if this one doesn't suit you, then go and check one of the others. But this one I feel like I can vouch for because, again, it's the successor to what I've got back here. So I just think it's the ideal way to make yourself more productive. And it looks like we're all going to continue to work from home, at least part-time. So why not set yourself up with a way to make yourself really productive?
No, you're right. The one thing Dell has done very well is their monitors, and that model doesn't hold. It holds true. That's a really good quality, and I attended a monitor event from them, and they just the innovations they've come up with monitors is just phenomenal. So well worth the value.
Yeah, and if you're a gamer, then you're going to be paying a lot more attention to refresh rates and all those things, and curved screens and those kind of things. But at least for my money, I'm fine with the flat screens. I can angle them if I need to. I don't need a really amazing refresh rate on anything except one monitor to do the video work. So why not? Why pay for it when it's sort of like paying for mass storage almost? With the hard drive discussion we were having, yes, you need fast SSD storage for certain things. Otherwise, you just need good, hard, reliable, cheap, massive storage. So same thing holds through with screen pixels. So guys, that's 4 rounds. That's did I do that right? 16 great picks. That's really, really a lot of diversity. And I know you made me change one of my picks, so that means I've got one for the next time around. So let's go around, find out where we can find all you folks when you're not here, and then we'll wish everybody a happy holiday. Brittany, the elf from the north with maybe the pointed ears?
Yeah, pointed-ish,
Pointed-ish.
You can find me on Twitter at ADD Liberator. On YouTube, it's the same thing. If you're looking for my ADHD or productivity work, that's going to be at conquer.consulting. And thanks for having me, Chuck. It's always a good time.
Hey, it is, Brittany. Happy holidays, and thanks so much for being here.
Happy holidays to you.
Yes. Mr. Ginsburg, where can we find you?
You can find me at In Touch with iOS at intouchwithios.com. You also can find me on MacVoices Live every Tuesday nights and become quite a regular there and have blast on that night, and the Mac Show on the British Tech Network. And you also can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. Thanks a lot, Chuck. It was a lot of fun.
It was. Happy holidays to you and your family, David.
You as well.
Mr. Rose, we haven't seen you around here nearly enough, but I understand you've been jetting around the world.
I've been gallivanting hither and yon. You can find me on Twitter at Mike T. Rose. You can find me on the show I do with MacVoices favorite and similarly curly-haired participant, friend of Brittany, Kelly Gumont. We do a show called The After Show, which is at aftershowpodcast.com or _aftershow on Twitter. And we're going to have a new show out hopefully this week right after the holiday. You can find me occasionally on Ken Ray's In a Few Minutes, which is a lot of fun to do. And sometimes in Blue Moon, you can find me here on Mac Voices on a Tuesday night if I wander in off the street cold and maybe a little intoxicated. But always good to be with you, and happy holidays, Chuck, and to the rest of the panel as well.
Thank you, Mike. It's great to have you. And we should note that Mike just gave Kelly, I guess, a new designation, FOB. Friend of Brittany.
Yeah. Well, there are many important designations she has, but that is a super important one. So Absolutely. we're gonna go with it.
Absolutely, yes. Brittany, tell Kelly to add that to her business card.
It's full. It doesn't actually fit anything more after she lists all the podcasts she's on.
Fair point.
Not exaggerating. Quite literally.
Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is Mac Voices. I hope you enjoyed this holiday gift guide. I know I always do. I enjoy getting my friends together and us trading stories on tech and complaining about hard drives that are no longer useful, but we still keep them around. Who knows why? We'll continue to have more of these, but I want to make sure you know that, first of all, you'll find all of our links to all of our picks in the show notes here. I have a master page on the MacVoices site with all the gift guide picks from all the gift guides. And also we publish a Flipboard magazine to make it a little bit more interesting for you to just browse through the picks. So you can search for that on Flipboard and you'll see links as well in the show notes to that. So until the next time, and as always, happy holidays to you and yours. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.